Listen, actually, question for you. Do you know anything about the 6-7 shit? I know this is way not even crypto related, but
I know a lot about it, dude. I've done
what
a lot
is
of like,
that?
um, well, 6-7. It was like this rapper made this song called "Doot Doot," and he's singing six
Yeah,
seven.
Skrilla.
And then this basketball player who was 6'7", like used that audio to like basically make shorts for his shots and shit. And the little kids picked up on it. This little kid named Mav Trevillian got famous saying 6'7" like in this video,
Oh
and kids have
man.
just been saying it nonstop in class, of like bothering their teachers and like pissing off their parents for like literally the last year.
Really?
Um,
I just found out about it
yeah.
like 3 days ago. I'm not on TikTok,
hmm
so I don't
It's
really.
basically like the biggest meme, and it's fun. It's a fun number to like draw a bunch of connections to because 6-7. It's like two-thirds, right? It's just like 66.66 rounded up. So anything that's like, there's just so many instances of 6-7 appearing everywhere.
Mm.
Like for instance, FG, my own fucking name. F is the sixth letter, and G is the seventh letter of the alphabet. So
Oh
it's like no
wow.
matter who you are, like you'll find some
Wow.
stupid fucking connection,
So you're
you know.
6'7", basically. Okay, let's
You
let's
know,
let's
this
dive into the name thing. So for those who don't know, first of all, welcome FG to the Nexus podcast. Thank you for being here. We
mhm,
appreciate it. How did
good
you
to be here.
actually? Why don't you start? Why don't you introduce everyone or introduce yourself to everyone? My God, my words. Let us know what started FG. How did you become the flopping groper? And just I guess tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Nick Cipher, aka the Flopping Groper. People call me FG, and I was the first person to ever make those market cipher tutorials. My half brother is crypto face, so I've been in crypto since like 2016. Um, Before crypto, I was going to college, like I was going to school to be a physical therapist. I was like taking this pretty cool path. But then I was in this accident, man. Like what kind of steered me towards crypto is like I had this near death experience where I was in a house fire. I had to get dragged out by firefighters and all this shit, and like I was in the
Damn.
hospital for weeks. And I did try going back to school to finish my senior year of that degree, but it just wasn't working, man. Like I didn't even give myself a semester to recover. I just thought I could like jump right into school again, and it just didn't work, man. Like that senior year of that degree was like very, very challenging for me. I didn't have the connections. Like all my classmates had all these connections and knew each other, and they were all like fit and in shape and like ready to be physical therapists, and I just like was not, bro, you know? So, um, around that time, I started exploring crypto, but I knew that like it wasn't going to be my only source of income because I didn't really know what I was doing yet. And so I was just getting any gig I could, man. I was doing just anything, man, like bartending, managing restaurants. I waited tables for a little bit, but everything I did, I would climb up to the top of, you know. But um, it wasn't until there was a day where I went to work and I had to close trades to go to work, and I would have made like 10 grand or some shit if I had just stayed home, right? And so that was kind of a day where I was like, it is maybe time for me to put my 2 weeks in. And that was around the time where like my brother had just started Market Cipher. And I was like, dude, I am going to like make this my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna help my brother with his business because he had a lot of people that were coming after him, like people in Discord trying to mutiny his community, people like trying to dox him, and like it was just a nasty space. And like me being passionate about crypto too, like I just could not let my brother do that shit alone, you know?
Yeah.
And so for the next couple years after that, it was really just like all about solving like solutions, like just with the business. Like, how do we get people hooked up to an indicator automatically? How do we take crypto payments automatically? And those bridges, those like pathways weren't created yet. Like my brother and I had to like figure out those hurdles ourselves. And like the early years of Market Cipher as a business, it was a strange but like super rewarding time because um, when that like Ethereum bull run came in like 2020, like we were totally vindicated. Like I was I mean, I was stacking ETH that whole time, bro. So like that pump on ETH, I didn't even like realize how much my wealth was increasing day by day until one day we were kind of just like at that top like of last cycle. I checked my wallet and like I had enough money to buy a house. And so this house that I'm in right now is a house like I cashed out majorly
Nice.
on crypto, not on the second, not on like the all-time high of last
Yeah, yeah,
cycle.
yeah,
You know how it was like a two hump?
yeah,
So like on the first hump, I like pretty much like sold like everything I had
yeah.
and like I got this house. Like my brother helped me like with like the paperwork and stuff, but like it was like that bull run that I got my nest egg. And this is a long ass story, sorry
No,
guys,
man, that's
but
why you're here, bro. That's
um
why you're here. You're a legend in the space, and for anyone that might not know, like that's what they're here for, right?
but let me tell you, like, yeah, so like my first couple years in crypto, like I had some major blunders, like, and I got settlement money from being in that accident. So that was kind of like my initial investment. That was how I was able to make certain plays.
Yeah.
But none of those plays in the very, very beginning before that huge ETH pump really culminated into anything. Like I blasted 15K into Verge and that shit went to crap. And like I would fire off barrels into like those like ICO scam coins, and then they would rug pull, and I was fucked, you know. So
Yeah.
it was just early crypto was bad, 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 and I had some good like leverage trades, but like the overall, it was like not profitable. I understood everything, like in terms of like the technicals, like I could explain waves, the oscillators. And for the most part, I could trade. It's just when you lose, eventually you hit that loss and then you get set back completely.
Yep.
And those are some of my most popular videos that I made at that time when I was newer. Is like it was the risk management videos that really popped off the most, and like I had to choose a name, and like flopping groper, it's a phrase that my brother and I have said since we were kids. It's like a family household name for like messing up, screwing up, fumbling or tripping or whatever. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
failing, and for some reason this name kind of chose me, man, and like and it's a beautiful name because in trading there's a lot of ego, there's a lot of people who are always trying to be right all the time, and yet my name carries with it this kind of presence of like this guy isn't afraid to fuck up or
Yeah.
to make mistakes
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
to this is like it's like a humble name, it's a joke kind of funny kind of name.
Yeah.
And that definitely like over the years like bled into my psychology. It's like it's almost like it made me who I am today. And so going back to that ETH like cycle top, last cycle top, honestly, cashing out of crypto, like honestly created a top in my life, if that makes sense. Like I didn't have the capital to make plays. Like I was all of a sudden I found myself just kind of stacking Bitcoin and DCAing again and like kind of just getting back into it. I was dealing with personal issues throughout that bear market, and it wasn't necessarily clear if crypto was coming back. You know,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
bear market was rough, man. Like, but it wasn't until like
Mm.
the ETFs were approved that I was really like, holy shit, this is coming. Like, we're going to 100K. I gotta, you know, that was when it like the bull run was really back on for me.
You
But until that
single-handedly,
point,
you single-handedly took us to 100K
yes, sir.
with
Yeah.
your push-up
But
challenge.
that's because the lows were so freaking bad for me, Gio. Like right at the literal bottom, I had a major relationship fall apart literally at 15K like on the day, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I had a relationship fall apart. I was not in good shape. I was like I had a lot of Bitcoin at this point cuz I was like DCAing and shit, but it's like there's no end in sight to this downtrend. It's like is my life pointless? You know, just
Yeah.
kill myself at this, you know, it's like that's where I was like at, bro.
Bro, I can resonate with
But
you too. Like at the bottom of 2022 bear market, I also was at rock bottom. Like and we've talked about this on
bro,
the
it
phone.
sucked.
Yeah,
It
I've talked
sucked,
about,
man.
but I wasn't just rock bottom because of crypto. Like I also just ended a serious relationship. I was looking for work. I couldn't find work. I tried to go back to school to do like some boot camp shit. I actually took a leave from my work because I was so miserable. And just to like go back to what you said about how it was when you, you know, you'd close a position to go to work and then you would have lost that money, or you wouldn't like you would have made more money if you were just staying at home. Like, bro, that is
Mhm.
so true because you know, I was doing the same thing. I was working at TD a bank here on the East Coast in Canada, and I was just like, while I was working from home for a little while, and I was just trading on the side, and I'm like, why am I learning and doing all this other shit when I could just be doing what I love to do and what I'm good at, and like, God willing, make the payouts that are on your screen right now, because you are, you know, I resonate with that story for sure. And this story, like right here on the screen, 70,000 on your breakout, that's insane. So,
This
it's
is
a
this is what it's
journey.
come to, man. I mean, yeah, it was the bull run. Each year of the bull run represented like a different phase of like my life. It's crazy, bro. And it literally can be defined as fix yourself, fix your community, and then fix the world. Like that's like this kind of
Yeah.
phrase that's kind of guided me for the last 3 years. 2023, that was the start of the bull run. That was in hindsight, I now know that there was this quarterly leapfrog at the end of 2022 that signified the bottom.
Yep.
But like you wouldn't really have known that like the bull run was in until like kind of well into 2023. But yeah, coming out of that relationship, it's like I needed to get training. I needed to invest in some good furniture, elevate my life, elevate my style, like just get back in hard into trading and um, like 2023 was definitely like Nick Flopping Groper working on himself, kind of plotting in the shadows, like
Yep.
for everything I was going to do in 2024. And then 2024 came, and I was like, there was a lot of apprehension about like, do I want to start a trading VIP? Because once you start it, you can't stop. It's like
Yep.
all these
Yep.
people rely on you.
Yep.
You have people paying you monthly. It's like it's this is a responsibility. This is a job, a career, a profession at this point, and it's like you may have been a good person before, but this is something that could make or break you, you know?
Yeah.
And so
100%. 100%.
2024, that was a big jump that I took. I was like, man, it's time. It's time to do it.
Hey, let's go.
My strategy at the time was Market Cipher SR for the most part, like using intraday VWAP with Market Cipher B and kind of just trying to day trade. But what I eventually evolved that system into is what I do now. So instead of using daily VWAP and intraday support and resistance, which is what Market Cipher SR is, I now use different time frames of VWAPs, daily VWAP, weekly VWAP, monthly VWAP, quarterly VWAP, and I use those bigger time frame supports and resistances too, like weekly, monthly, quarterly support and resistance from those big candles, you know? So I kind of just expanded the Market Cipher SR approach to something that isn't just day trading, because the day trading honestly wasn't really working for me. But by turning that logic of that indicator into like more of a swing trading strategy
Yeah.
and like learning anchored VWAP, I picked up a book by Brian Shannon called Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. So if you guys are ever interested in learning about like it's kind of like the sister of the volume profile. I
Okay.
like it more than volume profile, but Brian Shannon is the creator of Anchored VWAP. And just over the course of 2024 with my consistency with the streaming and the push-ups and like just there was no chance I was ever giving up. It's like I'm putting the trades in, I'm putting that time in. And I also had to get like my Palau ID to get back on Bybit. There were so many
Dude, I
actual hurdles
forgot
I
about
needed to
that.
do.
I
There were so
forgot.
many hurdles just to get back into leverage trading that it took me a couple months. Like I actually didn't even start like hitting the iron while it was hot until like the second half of 2023, or
Yeah.
sorry, second half of 2024.
Yeah.
And I was insanely profitable month by month until like Q4. I hit a snag and like I bumped my head like multiple times in a row, set myself back pretty bad. And I learned like a very valuable lesson at the end of last year, which is that it doesn't matter how good your strategy is if you don't take profits. Because like my
Yep.
mistake was I was nailing these massive wins. You saw my size, bro,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
time. The problem is I was taking that and just leaving it in the account and I was just scaling and compounding
Yeah.
and I figured that like I was hoping for a lucky streak basically, even though there's a lot of like skill in what I was doing. It just when you hit that snag and you finally take that loss, like the one loss out of nine, you know, it hits you really hard because
Yeah.
it's now that percentage is a percentage of such a big number
Yep.
that that loss ends up being more than your initial stake.
Yep.
You know, like the initial amount I started with, I had lost an amount greater than that in a single freaking trade, guys. And like that was tough. It was tough having to get on camera again the next day and do push-ups again and just look like nothing happened. You know, like it was really hard on me psychologically dealing with that loss,
Man,
knowing that it wasn't even VWAP, it was like me. Like there's
yeah.
something wrong with me,
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
Honestly, trading is hard enough as it is. And, doing what we do in front of the people, like other people, when they have a bad day or a bad week or whatever the case is, they can just hide and crawl up in their little cave and walk away. But we still need to like be that good example and, put that step forward. And at the end of the day, we're human too. So obviously risk management is a very important thing. And sometimes when we spiral or, you have a bad Q4 or whatever the case is, it's hard to move forward. But I wanted to ask you because I've known
Mhm,
you now for almost 2 years. For those who
mhm,
don't know, Nick is actually the first one really to put me on, along with Jay, from the Market Cipher team. So I'm really
mhm,
appreciative of that, and we've been friends since then. And I've seen you go through your ups and your downs. I've seen you start your VIP. I've seen you, develop your leapfrog indicator, and I've seen you start your challenge. And I've told you, dude, you're fucking crazy. There's no way Bitcoin's going to 100K. And I fought against you, and I'm like, you're gonna be fat
mhm.
forever, or you're gonna be doing push-ups
Well,
forever.
what was screwed up, Geo, though, is that Q4. Even though I had conviction in 100K, what's funny is that Q4 was that quarter that I took that big loss. So it's like I got stuck in there, lost in the sauce,
Yeah,
and like a lot of that pump. To be honest, my strategy revolves a lot around mean reversion,
yeah,
like things going back to normal.
yeah,
And so I've gotten a lot better, especially this year, of like spotting when there is no mean reverting going on. We're freaking, it's expansion, bro. Like, don't freaking trade the reversal. Like, for instance, currently right now, we're in expansion to the downside. Like,
yeah.
we are blowing through major high time frame supports like it's nothing on Mondays. And it's like, it doesn't even care that we take last week's low. It's like, there's not even a pump there. It just keeps going
Yeah, I
down, you
don't.
know?
Crypto doesn't give a
So,
fuck right now.
yeah, and
Crypt,
so, but that the reverse of that to the upside was like what happened after Trump's election, and
yep,
that totally messed with my strategy of like trading these healthy reversals, you know, which most of the time there is a healthy reversal, but basically all 2025 it's been about how like having this idea that it's going back to like last month's VWAP or last quarter's VWAP. That's cool, but
yeah,
like what can we learn to help us get a better entry, like, and a lot of the things that you talk about like liquidity
yep,
really help me like get a better entry with these VWAP trades, because it's like I have conviction that we are going back to last quarter's VWAP, but I need to get that price at last quarter's low for a long or last quarter's high
yeah,
for a short, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so combining a little bit of like liquidity knowledge with the higher time frame bias of like a big VWAP when a new big period happens, like that's been like my biggest trades this year, man. Like that's some of my, I mean, these are, I'm not going to tell you guys that like I have these hero trades, because I don't want to have the trades that I take are like so good that they deserve normal size. Like they deserve appropriate responsible size. And when you go in too heavy and you expose yourself to these big losses, you end up like what happened to me at the end of last year. So to do my strategy justice, I've learned that it takes a system, and it takes like good risk management, and that's why I've been loving the prop firms. So I don't remember your original question, but
Well, I have a
um,
question for you, but I want to introduce you to my two homies here. They're both my moderators. We have Jet on with the shades on. He used to have guns in the
mhm.
background. He's a fucking G. We got Jabs here. They
Oh
finally
yeah,
got their cameras to work. I didn't want to interrupt before, but these are my homies. These are my mods.
I
These are my
still got them, bro.
still got the guns. These are my Nexus
Oh
people.
boy.
hell yeah.
They've been with me through the highs and like through the ups and the downs. But I didn't really have an original question, but this was gonna be my leading question now. So I've seen you go through your ups and downs, Nick. Right? I've seen it. Okay, I've seen you hit the huge fucking P&Ls, and I'm like, how are you getting in? How are you um harnessing your emotions that come with, like, you were having 100K fucking trades and shit, and I was like, damn, I didn't know that you like move like that, like a little bit like your brother there, like your brother gets.
I do, Geo, I do. Like
So
Yeah.
this is my
yeah.
question though. This is my question. So you hit rock bottom in 2022. Okay, I was also at rock
Mhm.
bottom in 2022, and I've seen you go through the ups and downs. And I think from an outside perspective, and you're gonna help clarify it now for us. From an outside perspective, it seems to me like right now is your like peak at the moment. It feels from outside looking in, from what I've seen, it feels like you're the healthiest you've been, you're the best you've been mentally when it comes to the whole game, and you're doing the best that you've been. That's what it feels like to me. But maybe you can provide us insight on that.
Oh yeah, man. Well, honestly, so all this year, obviously we won the 100K push-up challenge, right? So I was no longer forced to do those push-ups, and so the good thing about it is I had even more time to obsess about Leapfrog, and I invented Leapfrog at the start of this year. Like I basically turned all my knowledge with anchored VWAPs, the tool itself, the drawing tool on TradingView. I took ownership of it, coded it into a script, gave it to everyone in my Discord. So all those people, they have my lines on their chart, no matter what chart they're looking at. And so yeah, like it came at a cost. Like I gained a lot of weight this year, to be honest. But right now, currently, and for the last like 2 months, I've been hammering that fact very hard. Like I'm on small amount of testosterone right now. I have professional training. I've been hiking a lot. So very quickly, you will see that I am fast approaching my absolute physical peak. Although it'll be hard to beat that version of me from last year. Like that dude was a Chad. He was like the version of me in 2024 was like traveling the U.S., doing push-ups every day,
Yeah.
treadmilling and shit while trading. Like, it's crazy like how one little change can like alter your body and chemistry and your whole life so drastically. But um, so physically, it's like I actually lost it, but I'm getting it back.
Okay.
In terms of trade size and account size, actually the end of last year, my trade size was bigger. I mean, like you saw
Yeah, that
my
was
trades
insane. That was
last
fucking
year.
nuts.
This year, I devoted myself purely to, well, not purely, but mostly to prop firm trading, because what that does is it allows me to hit trades that are almost as big,
Yeah.
but with the risk of like this. It's like,
Yeah.
whereas
Yeah.
before I was risking everything to
I,
like, because I had ultimate conviction in this crazy hero trade. That was me last year. This year is more like, I'm going to risk a little bit at the exact best possible price, the sweep of the high time frame liquidity,
Yep.
and I'm going to trust that my VWAP is going to drag that price all the way back down to last week's VWAP or something. And I'll show you guys some setups, but I've been able to do a lot, basically almost as much with way, 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 way less.
Yeah.
And so
Mm.
yeah, man, that's
Well,
that's what it's come down to, is like an elevated level of precision. So maybe the size isn't as much. My body isn't as in shape, but the mentality and like the system itself, the mechanisms that are in play are so solid and so like built up that it's like I have like ultimate confidence that like that peak that you're talking about is coming. So maybe what you're sensing is the coming of
the come
what
up.
what is about to come,
The
what
come
is
up.
coming. But
Well, to be
but
honest, you don't know
yeah,
you don't know you're at the peak until it's hindsight. Like you're always at your peak while you're up.
you don't even
You,
want to be at a peak, Geo.
no,
You
but
don't even. I mean,
what I mean is like, okay, Bitcoin climbed to 126, right? But when it was at 100, it was at a peak. Then it went to 105 and it
mhm,
was at a peak, and then 1 to 10. Like on the way up, you're always at your peak until in hindsight you're at the peak when you're at the peak. But if you're constantly
yeah,
moving up, then you don't know where the top is. That doesn't mean that you're at the top. It just means you're at your current peak. And that's all I meant
hmm,
by that. But yeah, man, like again, like good risk management for longevity and trading is a huge thing. Breakout is huge for that. I do want to ask you about your breakout, but before we do that, I want to just mention so Jabs here in our Red Sox
yeah,
hoodie, Go Sox, is like recently starting to get on breakout. Um, some things happened, and the big liquidation that happened about a month ago and
Yeah,
whatever.
that
So
was.
we're all
hmm,
kind of like, I don't want to say trading on defense mode, but we're aware of, what can happen. So I think breakout is really good for that. And I think he just got an account, and, he's probably doing
Well, I
better
just
than
want to
me.
know, like, it sucks. The UI fucking sucks
Yeah,
on
bro.
there.
The
Wait, can I
UI for
swear on
yeah,
there?
breakout
yeah,
absolutely blows, dude.
Like, I'm trying to
yeah.
figure out,
I
like,
hate
that's a big
clicking.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, especially at my level where I'm able to pass funded challenges like pretty quick. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
take I take my A plus setup. I just ape the size because it's got like more than a 50% chance of just passing the challenge by itself, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'll just pass the challenge, get the funding. But now I've got two 100K accounts staring me in the face. Switching between those two freaking accounts is such a pain in the ass sometimes, man. Like you got to click and verify that you're a human, and
So
like
do you have two
there's like
browsers? Or?
slippage and
Yeah, you should just get on 2 different browsers, bro. Just log in on each
I mean,
one.
I have like an ultra wide. I'm like in like a virtual reality
Yeah, but
over
if you're
here where like
logged
my
in,
screen is massive.
but if you have a separate browser, you could be logged in on
Yeah,
different
you're right. I
accounts.
could use a second browser,
You
but
should do that.
either way, either way, it's a painful platform to learn.
Oh
And
yeah.
actually, it took me over 20 challenges, 50Ks and 100Ks. If I knew this was gonna take this many attempts to like perfect
Yeah.
the craft, not just the trading, but like breakout, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like this platform
Yeah.
sucks. You guys have to.
Dude.
I admit I'm with you guys that this
Yeah,
platform
man.
sucks. There's a learning curve just to learning breakouts rules, and breakout's kind of shitty platform. You know
Bro,
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I suck at fucking breakout. I can't even tell you how many accounts I've blown. I'm so shit with breakout. Man, it like just all of it. The overall UI and setting trades and how long it takes and putting stop losses, and sometimes the stop losses don't fucking work, and like dude, the platform, I actually really like the product. That's the problem. I like the product, but the
Yeah, it's
UI
great.
is so garbage.
Yeah,
It like
I mean, I
deters
don't like
me.
the data feed. Like, you need to like refresh the page because you can't even trust the live data feed. Have you guys noticed that?
I can't even see my
Like,
stats. Like when I go to my dashboard, I can't even see it. It doesn't show
or
me anything.
sometimes you'll like go to like the 1 minute chart and then the chart glitches out and it's like just one candle in the middle of the screen.
Like,
You got to
bro,
like refresh the whole page.
uh,
There's so many little
Uh,
like hiccups and snags that make it to where it like I'm totally with you. Like that's why I tried another prop firm called Klein Funding,
yeah,
and they
I heard.
integrate seamlessly into a Bybit demo account. So you're trading on a Bybit demo account with full Bybit freedom. You could trade
Oh,
any
okay.
coin you want, any leverage, whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing
Okay.
is they have a stability score. Like the thing about Breakout that makes it so good compared to its competitors is there's zero stability score. Like you can hit that big hero trade on Breakout and just let it ride, and like you can take that whole payout,
Yeah.
and like Breakout's not going to judge you. Like Trader Manning doesn't care if you catch the top or the bottom. Like he's going to pay you.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas
There's
with
no like
Klein
shitty
Funding,
rules and shit.
yeah, I mean the rules like the thing is you have to, once you are funded, you have to trade like radically within the rules. Like you have to be like aggressively within the rules, because if you just trade the same way that you pass the challenge with, like I know some people would say otherwise. They would say don't. The advice they would give to someone who's struggling on challenges is they would say, "Oh, don't trade the challenge any different than you would the live funding." But for me personally, I have an edge that actually passes challenges like quickly
Yeah.
in like singular trades. So like that advice doesn't work for me. Like I would rather choose an account that's within my budget, which happens to be the 100K,
Yeah.
and like I would rather just like
Hammer.
basically just hammer it until I
Yeah.
get the funding. Then I'll respect the capital. I respect live capital. I don't respect demo funding bullshit. I'm not trying to sit here LARPing in
Yeah, yeah,
front of a
yeah.
demo chart for a month to get funding. My VIP, if any of them are watching this later, um, they'll attest that they saw me like double breach and then get refunded again and then get another payout. Like I've had these crazy kind of swings with
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
breakout, but where it's like I got these massive payouts. Let me show you my
Yeah.
October. So these are the October results. When everyone else was getting absolutely shit on, your boy was over here absolutely cranking. You guys can see that this was a competitive month. These guys on the leaderboards were cranking, and I kept up with them, man. I closed like almost 40 grand in October,
That's
the
sick.
shittiest month
That's
ever, you
sick.
know?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And so my gosh, that month, that was a really great month last month because it washed away so many mistakes like instantaneously. It was like a tidal wave of truth, and it was like FG knows what the hell he's doing now. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what happens in trading. Like if you have good risk management, so the problem is if you don't have good
I
risk
like it.
management, then your wins are not going to outpace all those losses, right?
Yep.
But if you have good risk management, the ultimate like saving grace for you is like when you finally hit that stride and when you finally start hitting those trades that like you always dreamed of, literally in like 1 month, you get everything back and more. And it's like, oh, I'm a champion now. It's like you go from loser to champion like overnight. And that's
Yeah.
because your losses throughout that process were manageable. And so that's the saving grace, even though Breakout has its issues and it's a buggy, kind of janky platform. Hopefully, Kraken does a better job with their ownership of the brand.
Yeah, that's good.
But what's really been cool about Breakout is like, yeah, I put 20 plus different challenges on the board, and I got funded, a number of times. But ultimately, like those wins, like the thing is when you get a 200 grand in funding, all you have to do is make 5% on 200K of funding, and it's like that, boom, 5 challenges right out the gate paid for,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like once you do start hitting it, you are golden. And so my advice to any of you guys like trying to get into Breakout is like don't do what I did and like assume that you got it figured out right away. Now in March I did hit a big grand slam. There was like a Trump tweet. I shorted my weekly leapfrog strategy, played out, and I had a massive like 20K payout in March. And that it's not like I was behind and like losing money on Breakout until last month. I was very ahead, and then it kind of drifted to like almost break even, and then October was like bam. So that was like my personal journey with Breakout. But my advice to you guys starting on Breakout is like make sure that you are just simply getting payouts, right? Like just get 10K accounts, like spam 10K accounts or something until
Okay.
you actually have like an account where like every week there's a payout coming out of it. Because when you see that list of payouts, like see this payout tab here, um, I feel like there's payouts missing. This doesn't look comprehensive. Oh, that's my affiliate payout. Okay, here we go. Um, these are my actual trading payouts here. So once you start seeing this on your 10K challenges, like actual money coming out, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Yep.
when I would start buying more expensive challenges. And with those 100K accounts, like make sure you have an edge where you actually could ape a single trade and pass a challenge. Like that's my advice to you guys is like, do you have that A plus setup that can pass challenges quickly? That kind of puts you within the edge of like dominating Breakout's platform. Because as long as you have a method of like getting funded like quickly, then that part of the risk equation like almost goes away and doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you kind of are just like magically appearing every month with like crazy size to trade with on very little risk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
that's true.
that's been my secret, man. Like is like
Man, let me
being
tell
very
you.
patient, very very patient for those A plus setups because they do play out.
Let me tell you
Go
like
on.
kind of where we prevail. So like, my trading style has developed immensely over the past couple of years. Like I'm a crazy trader versus a year ago, and I'm sure in a year from now I'm going to eat me now. Like I'm just, like we were talking about the peaks earlier, I'm just at my peak constantly. I have my quirks that I got to work on. I have my emotions and whatnot, but the way that I trade, the way that the Nexus trades, the way that I've taught everybody how to trade is just, man, I frequently go back to the analogy of just like robbing the bank. Like fucking pull off a money heist, get in, get out, grab your money, get in at the perfect timing. Like if you're going to rob the bank, you're not going in at fucking 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. You're going to wait for like 3:30 in the morning on a Thursday night when nobody's there and there's no guards and there's no safe or whatever. And that's kind of what we do. So prop firms for us are actually very advantageous because we don't have that downside risk. Like you said, you're only going to be risking whatever you put down for the account on whichever size account you get. And for the most part, bro, like we fucking hammer it on the perfect entries, and our stop losses are usually no more than like 0.25%. So I don't need huge stop losses. We don't really see drawdown often. I'm not saying we don't lose. I'm saying when things go outside of our like what we expected, we get out. So, for me, like my win rate, if I'm following my rules and I'm being a good boy, is probably around 65, 70%, give or take.
Damn,
But
that's high.
but when I'm
It's better than
not,
mine.
well, so here's the thing though, like I de-risk right away. So if I'm in profit and I'm in heavy, I will go stop loss to break even right away. And if I get taken out, then I'll just jump back in. So I don't count that as a loss and I don't count that as a win. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly doing trade management. But where the Nexus, I would say, prevails with the with the, what is it called? Fuck, the funding account. What the fuck is it called? With the
Breakout?
Prop firms.
prop firms, with prop firms, is because we have such minimal risk and because we get the fuck out whenever price doesn't do exactly what we want it to do. We can do those plays where we just absolutely hammer. So like I said, I suck at breakout, and I'll tell you exactly why. Like, you know, when I'm trading, I need to have a platform where I can like move things quick. Like, you know, price can move very quickly. If I need to take half out and then reassess, or I need to, you know, move the stop loss or whatever, I'm not like moving it down and adding margin and doing all that stupid shit that traders do. But I need to be able to manage my trade accordingly. And because breakout's so slow and the UI is so shit, yes, I'm talking to you, Trader Main, fix that shit and Kraken. It makes it hard for me. That's why I personally suck at breakout. But anyways, this story is way too long. But Jet here, with the one in the shades, like we're also starting to get into futures. Like the Nexus is starting to trade ES and NQ, so he's on Top Step. You know, my other
I think
moderator.
that's
It's
really
so
cool.
clean.
I love that you guys are doing that, man, because there's so many crypto people who are just like, "Good crypto, it's like their
No,
only
man.
idea of investing." And gosh, look where that's gotten us. Like it literally, cryptos overall haven't even like done shit since like I got into them in like 2017, you know. So, yeah, man, it's I also transitioned over to stocks in the form of like like options plays with my brother because
Yeah, I
he started
started.
hitting these big options plays, and I had a great play on AMD, couple
Nice.
great plays this year. But yeah, man, stocks and traditional markets,
I think
we
it's
gotta
important, bro.
transition people over to that.
I think it's
And they
important.
move so smoothly.
It moves
The
smoothly,
moves are
man.
so
There's more
clean.
liquidity
Like I
there.
sent
Go ahead.
the picture in the group chat that we're in this call.
Yeah, I see it.
Like I shorted. There's like two up candles the entire short.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was like over the course of
That's
4 hours.
that's the
Like it
kind of
was
shit.
perfect.
That's the
That's where
kind of
people
shit that we
struggle with like
do.
Heiken Ashi, but it's like Heiken Ashi like works because in some markets the trend really does just keep going like forever.
Yo, those
bro.
are not
Like
hikins,
That
bro.
move, yeah,
Those
that's
are
not
not
that's
Heiken
the
Ashi.
traditional
but
candles,
Heiken
bro.
exactly, but Heiken Ashi would like smooth this out so it would be
Yeah,
so
yeah,
easy. I mean, this is regular candles and it's easy mode, so like, but yeah, like
yeah.
those trend smoothing like strategies, like they don't really work in cryptos as much.
Yeah.
Whereas like in some of these markets, like yeah, you'll see like it'll actually just go up and up and up. I mean, that's what the stock market's done. It's gone up and up
Yeah,
and up
man.
and
You
up.
know,
Whereas Bitcoin's been a roller coaster. I want
crypto,
to
not
use the
just
R word,
Bitcoin,
bro.
not just
But
Bitcoin. Crypto's been like, you know, crazy, and that's why I think it's important for us. I mean, I myself have dabbled in with futures, doing ES and NQ primarily, but I think it's important to, you know, you guys are doing your options, you and your brother, which is cool. I don't even know how to do options, so maybe, you know, I'll watch some videos and I'll learn from that. But I think it's important for us to be able to provide another market for these guys to trade, because at the end of the day, I mean, at least I hope this is the case. At least it is for me, and then for like the Nexus and I, we care about profit. We don't care about crypto. I don't give a fuck about crypto. You know that. I don't care about crypto. I don't care about ADA. I don't care about decentralization and shit. I care about making money. And
yeah,
so,
it's about diversification, you know. It's about
yeah.
like
And so
it's about
crypto's,
having more charts and more accounts. First off, if you screw up one account, if you have another account like where you do stocks and stuff, at least you didn't lose everything. Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
fact alone is
Yeah.
like you should be looking at as many things, diversifying as many things as possible in general, just with your money in general. So like getting into stocks, like knowing that I have an extra 5 figures growing in some options right now
Yeah, yeah,
makes me like way less attached to like just
yeah,
a random leveraged Bitcoin
Mm,
trade or some
yeah.
fart coin trade, you know, like
yeah.
gosh,
Man,
man, it's so crucial.
and crypto's price action has just been so fucking grim. You know, they say that crypto moves fast and it's very volatile and it's dangerous and whatever. And obviously there are times where it can be, but bro, like Jet said earlier, I don't know if you've ever traded like ES and NQ, bro. Those move so nice. If you ever traded
I
gold,
want to,
like
yeah,
it actually
yeah.
moves. You don't, you're
Yeah.
not sitting in a position with your fucking dick in your hand waiting for it to like get away from your entry. But like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
12 hours later, you get in and you're still at your entry and you're like, what is this? Like it didn't even move. Like today's price action was so shit. What are we doing?
Yeah, and that
This
trade
actually
that I
this
sent
week
was
sucked.
literally
Yeah.
4 hours. It was only 4 hours for that entire trade that I was in that.
Man,
I
yeah,
hit full
we
TP within
Good
4
stuff,
hours,
man.
and I was
Nick,
done for
bro,
the day.
we
And the UI on Top Step
oh,
is
it's amazing.
beautiful. It's so clean. Like, you enter your
Mhm.
position, you can literally click on your position and drag it up or down to where you want your stop or your TP,
You
and,
could
like
adjust the position. I was like, "Oh, I don't like my
yeah.
position, man. Let me just
Yeah,
raise or
can you
lower that real
imagine?
quick."
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
wait. I longed Bitcoin at 84K, but I'm gonna just move it down to
Uh,
50K.
But you can
I long
also
from
copy
I
50K.
know
trade
what you mean. I know
yourself,
what you
which
mean,
is
though,
what
bro.
helps. So, like, the
Mhm.
way that you have multiple breakout accounts, so on Top Step, you can open multiple challenges. So I've got my funded account, and then I've got 200K challenges that I'm also doing right now. And both of
Mhm.
my challenges are copy trading my funded account. So I only have to execute one trade, and it automatically does it on my other two accounts for me,
That's
which is
beautiful,
really,
man.
really
Man,
convenient.
it's like a whole new
I had to
world.
call Geo to figure out how to close my fucking position on breakout the other
Well, that's
Yeah,
day.
what a
you
lot of
tell
these kids.
I,
There's a lot of kids on like Instagram that are like, "This is like the meta." You guys are like following the meta of what's like
well,
very popular right
it's
now.
more liquidity, right? Like it's just and the thing
Yeah,
is
true. You guys are trading against like 17-year-old kids on Instagram. That's like
well
that's
Yeah.
so
that
cool about it.
crypto's unregulated. Crypto I don't think is any different, to be honest with you.
no.
Not to toot my own horn, Geo, but I'm out trading bots, nation states, institutions,
Yeah.
all this fucking shit.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
crypto is just a big. I mean, right now it's currently expanding to the downside. I did not have a big like easy mode swing trade long back to last week's VWAP
yeah.
this particular week. But my VIP knows the game. Like they know there may be a week where I don't like I'm kind of quiet. You know, I'm kind of hibernating right now because when I do hit it, it's like these home runs. I could go over some plays that like I caught, like some
Yeah,
of these payouts and
show
trades.
us what you got. So you're basically swing trading is what you do. Like you
Yeah,
swing
man,
trade.
just really just swing trading because like the pattern that I recognize that, and whenever you fail, it's like I gotta fall back. What do you fall back on when what you're doing in trading isn't working? It's always going to be like the bigger ideas, the higher time frame things that you're more sure about, you know. And so the overall pattern that I noticed that Bitcoin likes to do, and you'd have to back test this on other assets. So like you can't just like I wouldn't just take this strategy in and start trading minis with it on Top Step. Like it takes a little bit of like, is this pattern going down on this chart that I'm trading? But uniquely to Bitcoin, it likes what we look at is like quarterly VWAPs, like a new quarter starts, and you put an anchored VWAP on that. And like that line is incredibly relevant because next quarter, that's going to be a potential trade target. And so, like back here in like 2024, you slap a VWAP on that Q4, that start of Q4. Then we came into the new year. Do you guys remember I was like very bearish in the new year,
Yeah, that was
like
my
of
favorite
this year?
part. That was my favorite time of you because we were on the phone and we were like, "Fuck the Bulls." that,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean,
that was
it
my
was
favorite version of you.
And it was obvious because look how far we had ran from the previous quarterly VWAP. Like now we're in the new year. We're in January, right? We're here in this kind of area.
Yeah,
And it's like we clearly want to go back to this yellow line right here, last quarter's VWAP.
yeah,
And I'm betting on that sensible retracement, that return back to normalcy, because that's a big ass. This is a big time frame thing. So like a move like this could roll through, and it would still trip traders up because it's on such a like high
yeah,
time
for sure.
scale. But at this point, I still hadn't like targeted liquidity sweeps for an entry model. I was still just like kind of winging it based on the fact that I know it does want to go back there, but like when and how, the when and how at this point, I still was not like perfected on.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, I know that when a new quarter begins, what's the best price if you know that we are going to go back to this line here, what's the absolute best price
To sell.
to take that trade?
Yeah.
It's actually going to be the previous quarter's high. So if it's the previous quarter's VWAP that you want to trade back to,
Oh,
what's
I
the
see
best
what you're
trade? The
doing.
previous quarter's high. You
Wow,
see?
that's interesting. How okay? So
And
how
look
well
and
is
see, look,
this?
it tags
And
it. See
boom,
how it
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
tags it
yeah.
trade.
perfectly and then
Yep.
goes straight down. You see
That's an
that?
interesting strategy. So how well do you find like okay, how many times do you find that it doesn't go for the previous quarter's high, and if it doesn't, are you still looking to get involved? Or is it like, this is what I'm trading, that's it?
Most of the time it does. Like I'm gonna keep showing you guys to kind
Yeah,
of
show
like,
me another one. Let's see what happened on these lows. Did we get that
yeah.
same play on the low?
So we'll slap that VWAP on the year to date. We'll put a year to date VWAP on. And then going into April, like there was a lot of people who were fudding, but also retail kind of bought the bottom on, this dip was like a retail dip. Like a lot of people kind of assumed Bitcoin was going to come back. So this wasn't like the most like surprising pump here. But look what happened is like if you believe that we were going to go back to the year to date after the start of April started here. So we're in Q2 at this point.
Yeah.
If you want to trade back to last
Swept the
quarter's
low.
VWAP, what's the best price to trade back there? It would be last quarter's low. See this low here? So once that low
Interesting.
is taken, boom, you go up back to that VWAP. You see that? It's the same pattern
That's
again.
very interesting. That's an interesting strategy. I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's
That's
kind of
pretty cool.
you have to find an asset where it's actually doing this. And also every quarter is going to be a little bit different. For instance, the next one was a little bit trickier and but it caused me to grow. It caused me to improve my entry model even further. Because yes, you have this Q2 VWAP. We go into Q3. Here's July 1. So we put a VWAP on that. And yes, we did eventually go back down to that Q2 VWAP, but the high that you would have targeted would have been here, this high here. And look what happened there. We just blasted right through that. And there was
Yeah.
actually a little bit of price discovery further up higher. And so what I learned is you don't just want to like get that price. You want to observe that interaction, and you want to make sure there's actually like the candles are showing like a daily candle showing that like there's actually like a reversal happening.
Yeah.
And look on like the daily hike in Ashi, like there really wasn't a sign of weakness till here, right? And so I did catch this and assume that this would be the top. And then I ended up getting like pushed out and then like entering it again. So this was like a weird like little double top example
Yeah.
that played out over like multiple months. But can you see how like eventually it did go back to that Q2
Yeah, for
VWAP? So the
sure.
system kind of like having that bearish bias from this point here was actually the way to go, even though it was like a little more difficult than the previous quarterly examples. Like
It
I
gives you at least like a map, a roadmap that like
It's giving you the
statistically is
bias.
proven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
bias
it's giving you the
the
bias.
macro bias is actually in the direction of last quarter's VWAP with Bitcoin because it's sloshing between liquidations.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. And
taking these
it's
high time frame candles,
and it's
And
been
it seems like
grim
if you
lately too.
wait for an SFP, it seems pretty high
It happened.
win rate.
Yeah, it happened again,
Pretty
bro. Yeah,
because
that's what
if you
happened.
would have waited on the that like high push up, and if you would have just waited for an SFP, you probably could have got that double top pretty easily,
Wait.
and then
Well,
it worked out.
that's why I ended up taking it again because
Mhm.
even though like, this got pushed out and this got dragged on, more data is coming in and like you still have that bias. It's not like you get invalidated. It's not like it was invalidated. Like it was just simply, like you said, an SFP. And if you understand liquidity and what those price moments in time like look like, you clearly call for what it is. You're like, oh, okay, we're just SFPing this high, then going back to last quarter's VWAP. You can kind of like craft this narrative about the chart. But the craziest example of the quarterly leap was actually just recently. Like this is why my October was such a good month. Not that I even caught this wick here, but you guys can see that we got a new quarter. Q4 started, and where do we go? We immediately rush up to take a new all-time high. We take Q3's high over here. And
Yeah.
then where do we go? We immediately wick down not only to the previous quarterly VWAP, but we just actually we take the
Died.
previous quarterly open. It was actually like the Q3
Mm,
open
mm.
down here that just got completely washed. So that was an insane move, not typical at all.
That was
But
that was a fun
yeah.
capitulation in the Nexus. We knew that was coming.
And this goes back. I mean, you guys can backtest quarterly anchored VWAPs yourself, but actually, all last year, I was catching similar moves just with crazy risk and not as much knowledge about liquidity and getting
Yeah.
an actual advantageous price. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I've really learned is like, yeah, you may have an amazing idea in the markets, but you still have to get the right price. Price is king. Price is what
Timing,
pays.
bro. Timing is everything. You need the timing. If you don't do the timing,
Mhm.
like the direction is
Yeah.
not that hard, to be honest. It's really not. When you're high, look for shorts.
Yeah.
When you're low, look for longs. It's not that hard. It's really the timing and, you know, having the proper discipline for the setups and stuff. But listen, let me ask you. 126,000. I'm just going to ask you the question, bro. I'm not afraid of the question. 126 top forever?
Mm.
Yes or no?
But when you say top forever, is
When
this
I
like a
say
crypto
forever,
face
I
esque
mean until the end of time.
to the end of time, bro? I can't. I'm gonna say no, bro. I'm gonna say that
Okay.
somehow Bitcoin's gonna weasel out of the quantum hacking bullshit. There's gonna be some layer added on it that like preserves its like integrity.
If
Like somehow, like I think the community's gonna rally and like solve the problems that people are scared about. Although those problems may cause the price to go very far down because the solutions aren't here yet. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Well,
um,
I'll tell you
yeah,
this:
man.
if you start doing 1,000 push-ups a day until 1,000K, I'm gonna
Fuck
be,
no,
I'm
dude.
gonna be fucking pissed.
Oh, no. That's a good one, man.
All right, do you think we're in a
No,
bear
man. I
market?
think
Do you
I
think?
actually, I until recently, honestly, I thought that like there was still a chance, man. Like I thought that you know, like now I would say that it's very, very unlikely that we just take a new all-time high like
Yeah,
Q1 of next year or something, you know, like
yeah.
probably unlikely. In
Yeah, I agree.
fact,
I think the
it's looking a
74K
lot
low is gonna go. I'm like 90% sure that that low is gonna go.
it's looking a lot from a quarterly from an anchored VWAP perspective. We go back to last cycle real quick. We had 2021, we had 2020. I'm putting VWAPs on these important like macro year to date. These are year to date VWAPs because we want to analyze what the end of a bull run looks like around 3 year to date VWAPs, right? Because we're going to see, we're going to basically, when 2026 begins, this is the scenario right here that we face, which is like, so currently, right now, we're getting a repeat of history where going into the new year, we were eager to go all the way back to the
Yeah.
2020, the year today from 2 years ago, right? And that's exactly what was happening now. Bitcoin, you'll see that we're pretty much about to dump back down to like
Oh.
2024's year to date here.
I
So
like
see,
those
look,
numbers.
so look, see the VWAP from last year. We're
Yeah.
already at it already, right? So that's what happened. Is right now, currently in time, we've pretty much lost 2 years of year to date VWAPs, and there's some people who think the third year will save us, but look what happens. You actually can. It's possible that you get a bearish year, and yes, you get this little return like as confirming as resistance or whatever. But ultimately, falling below 3 year to date VWAPs is like a death sentence for like multiple quarters of price action, right? So this is something I'm looking at is are we going to get a repeat of this type of situation, especially with the waves at that time looking very similar
Oh
to
yeah,
what they do
dude.
now.
Market
You know, it's
cipher,
like these
bro.
waves look very similar. This is where actually market cipher shines
Bro, this
because
looks
like
like shit. Like market cipher, it looks like it's about to fucking die.
it
You
really
know,
does, man. I mean,
okay.
it looks yeah. Go on, bro.
I've
Sorry.
I've I've been asking, I've been bringing this up to Geo like multiple times, but I'm actually really curious to hear your opinion on this, Nick. Um,
Mhm.
well, one, that's just the bear market, my predictions for that. I'm thinking 30, 40K for a bottom, in my opinion. But on the Bitstamp chart for Bitcoin USDT, if you look at the market cipher on that, what is your opinion on monthly market cipher on the Bitstamp chart
On USDT.
on just
I think
USD?
it's just USD
Bitcoin,
Oh,
yeah, Bitcoin USD.
Bitstamp. Just do BTC,
um,
it'll be the first one, I think.
Yeah, because Bitstamp just
Yeah,
has
Bitstamp.
more
What the hell
history.
even is Bitstamp, by the way?
oh, I would say that if you're
It's like
doing
bank.
volume analysis, you actually want to use the other chart I was looking at. That's just because Jason Casper recommended that to me, and the VWAPs have been a little more accurate. One weakness about anchored VWAPs is like it's just anchoring off of candle data. So like all exchanges have slightly different candle
Mhm.
data. So you're anchored these big anchored VWAPs, like one small discrepancy multiple years ago leads to like a large discrepancy, an exaggerated discrepancy
Yeah, yeah.
now.
What about
But
Cypher though? What about Cypher? How does Cypher look?
Yeah, so how do you
well,
feel
this
about
Bro,
is
the market
this
cipher
looks
for
like
this?
it's going to fucking zero.
Ultimately,
you
dude,
have
this is
like
hella fucking bearish. Like, and
Like
it
we
was,
have
it's been
4
bad.
bearish
It's been
spike
bad.
waves.
because you
It's
have like
been
cycle
terrible.
divergences, like with the money flow and everything over multiple cycles.
I mean, you don't gotta tell me, bro. At the start of this year, I saw this two-headed wave, and I said, "This is a bull run ending fucked up. This is fucked up." And like, yeah,
Yeah.
we did at the like middle of the year have this little pinch up and stuff, which was like cool, but it still created like a lower high. It's just more
This
like
shit
bear
is
divergence. Like, it doesn't look
Mhm.
any better. It actually looks worse because this two head was just confirmed by head 3. So it's like even worse now
yeah,
than
this
it
looks like
was
shit,
back in
bro.
February. So basically the lesson here is we all should have done push-ups with Nick, and when Nick was victorious, we all should have sold all of our Bitcoin and just started trading stocks because Nick called the entire narrative. Well, it wasn't me, it was Crown Chalker with his song Bitcoin to
I
100
love that
racks.
guy,
Like,
bro. I really do.
Well, Nick,
I
let
still
me
listen to his
yeah.
shit.
let me tell you
It was,
something about
I'll give all the
Geo.
credit to Crown because
Let
it
me
was his music that actually inspired
Let me
me.
tell you something about Geo. Geo's also been in 90% cash because Geo's not a fucking idiot. Okay.
You guys knew I sold my Bitcoin at the start of the year, right? Like I've been
I
completely
knew.
just
I
in
knew.
Yeah, I'm
crypto. I've
also
just
all
been
out
trading.
too.
Yeah, I knew.
I sold all my crypto at like 98K in like January or something. Like
Bro,
I didn't care about getting like this crazy good price. Like, I was just like,
Yeah.
I feel victorious, right? Like I had my moment, and I'm wise enough to know in trading, even though I'm not like super old. I don't have like a big white beard, but like I'm wise enough to know that like when I feel good, the fun's probably almost
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what
Well,
I'm
and the
saying?
thing
Bro,
is,
when you're
Okay.
posting the P&Ls,
$26,000. I mean, that's really not that much extra. So, like, you selling around 100K, I mean, that's you essentially selling the top. Like, that
yo,
extra
Yeah,
26K
and then I
is
pivoted to
irrelevant
stocks.
completely.
I pivoted to
Yeah,
stocks and like dominated on AMD
yeah,
and
yeah.
NEM and
And
like
that's how you do it.
dude,
EAI.
people
Yeah,
ask
dude.
me all the time. They're like, "Gio, would you sell your Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "I would have sold it at 70K. I don't even know how you held it this fucking long." Like when it was like 100
Yeah.
plus K or whatever. They're like, "Would you sell here?" And I'm like, "Dude, I would have sold it like a year and a half ago." Like the fact that you know me, Nick, I didn't even think it was gonna go to 100K. I was making jokes about how you're gonna be doing push-ups forever. And to be honest, I low
It looks
key
like
kind of
shit,
wish
man.
you were because fuck 100K.
You know, there was a guy on Twitter who was doing 125 push-ups a day till 125K.
Oh
That dude
wow,
had some crazy balls because look how, dude, we literally
damn.
tagged his exit. We saved him. We basically pumped in October
Just for
just to help
him.
that guy
Just for
out.
him.
And
Yeah.
then we're
Yeah.
like, all right, we can't freaking do this shit
And
anymore,
now,
man.
dude,
We
I
gotta
was
stop this shit.
yo. Okay, so what do you
You know,
think? What do you think? Like, if I gun to your head
Yeah.
right now, you had to give a number. Where is the bear market low? If you think that we're gonna have the 4 year
Ooh.
cycle shit again, because I don't think we are. I think the 4 year cycle's done. And I actually like. I'm not gonna say 126K top forever because there's no way of me knowing that. But I'll say this: I will not be surprised if it is the top forever. It won't surprise me.
You know, Gio, I'm not as good at you as like finding the little inefficiencies in the chart and being like, there's a high likelihood that we go down to this point. All I know is that like the oscillators will probably need to like the monthly oscillator needs to cool down into like a very convincing hidden bull div, right?
Yeah.
Because like the history of the monthly is that the hidden bull divs are insane. And so by the time this cools off and forms a hidden bull, I'll probably flip bullish regardless of where we're at.
Oh,
Whether it's
for sure,
you know,
man. Like,
but it could be at a previous cycle high, which just is. I mean, what would be weird is like if it floated and like never actually went below the last cycle high. But I doubt. I think we do lose
so
that
okay,
level. I think
so
Michael Saylor gets the squeeze, bro.
yo,
He's like
Yeah,
okay,
really
okay,
I
okay,
would be
okay.
fucked up.
Let
shocked
me
if
so
we
let me
did.
just say
I
this.
think Michael Saylor gets the squeeze.
So let me
At
just
least
say
know
this.
that.
Let me just say this, okay? For anyone listening, just because I'm saying I think that you know it wouldn't surprise me if we don't come back, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily bearish. Like we're still gonna trade it, we're still gonna long, we're still gonna short, blah blah blah, all that shit. Okay, my people already know that. But okay, so you're saying you know whenever we get the hidden bull div, so what is that price? Just give me like gun to your head, random, whatever. What do you think?
Well,
What is
I
the
would
flop and
say it's
grow
around
pin?
yeah, it's around that like 40K area. I mean, we'll pull a couple of VWAPs from historic like previous years,
Okay,
year
I
to
like
dates
40K.
because they all settle around the same point, right? So if we just put uh like VWAPs. Let me go to the yearly chart here. Slap some VWAPs on standard
Oh my
candles.
god, that's the yearly.
Boom.
I hope we
boom,
get two.
boom,
I
boom.
hope we get two red years in a row. Like this year's red and then next year's
Huh.
red.
Well, basically what this tells you is see how there's like multiple years in here at like 50K. You know, so like 50K, if it lost that, you could go down to like 35. There's a lot of supports in here, but there's support all the way down to like 17,000, you know? Like this whole bull run could get like devoured and actually you're still holding like 2017 like year to date VWAP levels. So it is crazy how far we've come. I personally don't think it'll go below like 35 to 50K, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, man. That could be
Oh, for
it
sure.
may
For sure.
it may hit there and then have to bottom, right? And it goes way lower than that, but that's kind of like the psychological bottom.
Mhm.
And then
Man,
it's
just
like
because
that
you said that,
maybe that's like the neckline or some shit of a bottom, right? But
just because you said
yeah.
that, it's gonna go to 34K just so that you're wrong, and then it's gonna bounce from there. That's how it goes usually.
Dude, I've been
Yeah,
saying
man.
28, man.
So
I
I mean,
think
just
once
looking
we
at the
hit
chart.
40, I'm interested in maybe like some DCA or something like that.
Bro, I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna lose 43, and I'll tell you why. I think because all the ETF people, they got in at 43, and they haven't even seen 1 second of drawdown. And the world doesn't work like that. Plus, when Michael Gaylor gets margin called, like he's the king of Bitcoin and this, that. But I think I told you this on the phone a few days ago when we talked, Nick. But there's a quote in Iron Man 2 where the guy's like, if you could make God bleed, people will cease to believe in him. And that's what I think Bitcoin is, like people think that Michael Saylor is a god and he's saying, oh, we'll never get liquidated. I'll just buy up all the Bitcoin. But like, man, when your back's up against the wall and the heat is on, like we'll see what he actually does. Because if MicroStrategy is nosediving, which it is right now, and Bitcoin is nosediving, which it is right now, like wait for the pressure to come on. We'll see, man. Talk is cheap until you're in the hot seat. So
I think it's crazy that Saylor like ate the last bear market. You think he would have like learned his
I
lesson
agree.
and like he basically had a whole year of aura farming shitters to like exit liquidity everybody and like sell slowly and like do good by his people who held through that massive failure of a drawdown from the last cycle.
like people
But
didn't
he didn't
learn,
learn his lesson. He didn't learn his lesson. It's
dude.
like have you guys ever been in like a trade that was way too big a size and you're like down 80% and you like know you're
Bro,
gonna
he's
get
talking to me.
liquidated, but then it comes back.
Yeah, that's
Now
this
you're in the
guy.
green. Now you're in the green and you don't de-risk at all. You keep the same
You let it
size and
ride.
it goes all the
Yeah.
way back down and then you get liquidated again. It's like what why didn't I de-risk when
Yeah.
it literally was back in the green? Like
I know.
that's probably gonna be my like if that's what happens to you and me, and for you and me, Hail Mary plays don't work. Like Hail Marys don't work for us. If I'm down to my last trade on a funded account and I'm sitting here like the fat guy from South Park playing World of Warcraft, like trying to fat finger like Hail Mary and save my funded account, 9 times out of 10, that funded account is gonna get that funded account's gone, bro.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
trade's not gonna.
Yeah.
But that's what Saylor did. He did this Hail Mary,
And
and
he
it's
got
like in
saved.
trading,
And
Hail
then
Marys just don't work.
no,
Man.
it's
Like,
not
that's
even just that, bro.
and also not taking profit.
Yeah.
Like there is no. This is a big reason why CF's copy trading group ultimately like went down because if you think about it, where was the profit taking? Right? Like that's a necessary part of a trading strategy. Is like you win. You
Get
can't
out.
just
You
sow
only
and
win if
sow
you
and
take
sow.
profit.
If you only sow and sow and sow and never reap, then you're literally a serf, and like the Lord is coming and like taking half your crops from you. You know, like you have to reap.
Yeah. Yeah, you
That's
gotta
what
sell.
trading is. And so Sailor is like he's not even like trading. He's just like he's Hail Marrying, but he's Hail Marrying to what?
No, but
You know,
dude,
like,
he Hail Married
know?
and he survived it. And then not just that, but you said, okay, it comes back to break even and then you hold the position because it's like, well, this is the
He doubled
original
down.
idea. He's doubling and tripling and fucking 10x downing, buying at 120K. I'm pretty sure like the highest he bought was like 124, like 300 or something.
His average entry is trash. I mean, my average entry was like 20 something thousand.
Yeah, his
when I
average
sold,
now is
like,
like
72,
70.
right?
It's like 74 or 75 or something now. And I'm telling you, dude, listen, I am okay. Nothing's ever 100% in crypto, and obviously everything can change. But right now, I'm probably leaning 90% chance that we're going to take that 74K low, which means Michael Saylor is going
We
to
got a
be,
magnet there, bro.
yeah, which means it's not going to happen right now. I think now we rally to like 95, 96, 97, 98, somewhere there. And then a huge short down to that 74K low. You better believe the Nexus and I are going to be short for that. But that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Obviously, things can change. But what happens when that happens? Do we think that Michael Saylor is going to sell now at 96 when we get that rally? Because I kind of will have respect for him when he sells. I have no respect. First of all, he looks like a bunny. He looks like Bugs Bunny. That's first of all. Second of all, I don't know. I don't have respect for what he's doing at all. And
he ain't no Warren Buffett, that's for sure. See, Warren Buffett, the difference between like legends like that and like Michael Saylor is like Warren Buffett is like, I am the top. You know, he's not afraid to like just be the first big player to dump some crazy shit at some crazy prices. And like that dude was the top, you know, or with his UNH play, the United Health Group play, like they just like caught that knife and they made that a bottom, you know, like that's some real G shit right there.
Yeah.
Michael Saylor is just like basically like an irresponsible trader who hasn't learned like the most important lesson, which is like he's basically me from last year. Like he's like trying to scale into this big trade and he never takes any profits. And all that leads to is ultimately just a big loss. Because if you're never willing to take a win, then what's the alternative?
He's just
like, where's
Wynn.
his target at?
He's
if he's
James
buying
Wynn.
in six figures, like what is this dude even targeting?
No, well,
like
that's why strategy is ironic because he has no strategy. He doesn't have a target. He doesn't have a stop loss.
Bro,
he doesn't
he's
have
holding
like,
it forever.
It's not a trade.
He's micro strategy for a reason, man.
Man, he says hold it for forever.
I mean, let's check MSTR. I try not to talk too much shit when it's already down. You know, it's like I am most critical when we're, you know, MSTR is already getting shit on here. It's not looking too good for the year.
Dude, as soon as that high hit,
this looks like a high.
Bro,
over
the
here.
moment that high hit, I have a line right now on my. I don't trade it, but the moment that line hit, I have that's a blow off top and it's down only from there. That high that we hit, down only.
Oh, man. Wow,
I have a
look
line
at that.
on that first. That one. Wait, where are we? Yeah, this high. As soon as that high happened, I'm like, they're cooked. This is a high. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Saylor is gonna get destroyed. He's basically James Wynn, but he's somehow convinced everybody that he's God. But listen, once you can,
you want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
Listen to this. This is the guy that taught me what leverage is.
Who is?
Flop and Groper.
Oh, really?
I watch all the nursery rhyme videos and all that stuff.
Yo,
funny.
No,
I'm not
dude,
kidding.
that's why, dude.
That is good information. Still to this day, I will stand on.
That's pre-chat GPT. That's straight off the top.
I'm telling you, that shit was fire. I'm like, okay, I get it now. But I learned it because now I'm over here. Like I've known about you for a long time because I watched BitBoy back in the day, and I saw him on the like he was doing Market Cipher, and he's like on Bybit, blah blah blah, and he was like promoting Market Cipher. That's when I bought it, and then I sat in your brother's group for a long time, and then I watched all the nursery rhyme videos and this and that. So like my whole trading thing started with BitBoy and then watching your stuff and, you know, following your brother. I wanted to be in the World Crew so bad. I was about to tattoo the pencil neck thing on me for real. Like I thought about it. Like that was a thing, dude. I swear. Like he was like, if you get it tatted, I'll put you in the group. I'm like, yo, I want to.
Yeah, I remember that. Dude, that's the crazy thing though, because like we've come so far and Geo has like elevated our lives so much just because I had the same beginning. It's like 2020, Bitcoin's like 12K or whatever. And I'm watching BitBoy, I'm watching CryptoFace, I'm watching Flop and Groper, the nursery rhyme stuff. And just like Jason Casper even. Dude, and now I'm starting streaming. I'm on a podcast with Flop and Groper. You follow me on Twitter, Nick. White Phoenix follows me, you know, Alex Crypto, like with all these people who I used to watch and learn from, and now I'm like having actual interactions with them, and it's just kind of crazy how one person kind of giving you an opportunity and then being able to be consistent and run with that, how much that can really change something.
There's so much there, man. I mean, first of all, this is exactly why I came back to Market Cipher in a big way at like the start of 2024. was precisely because I had like done the meditation to like open up my mind to the fact that there are so many people out there who still remember who I was or who I
Yeah,
am and like what
clearly.
I, it's like
Yeah.
there's, and actually it was a job that was left unfinished. Like all these people came into the markets trying to figure out trading during COVID, and like most of them failed, right? Like there was this massive expansion, but then there was this big contraction. And that's why a lot of you guys have risen, because we contracted, and it's like whoever's left, well, I guess we're friends now, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like that's how this shit works, man. It's constant expansion, contraction, like all this fluff bullshit, and then like the fluff bullshit goes away, and then you see what's real left over. My brother and I have been here this whole time, so we're real, you know? And you guys are real. Like we're here, you know, like so that's what this is like, man, we kept that thread going. Like I didn't give up on the traders. Like I knew that I had a duty to actually come back and like finish the mission, you know? And so
Yeah.
I'm actually like just as however grateful you feel to like talk to me. Like it's really cool that I get to like talk to traders who still remember those videos, bro. Because
Yeah, I'm
Bro,
telling you.
Dude, those
they're
videos are so
everlasting,
I
funny.
remember
dude.
I ran downstairs. I said, "Yo, Dad, I think I figured this shit out." Like I swear.
yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah,
was
man, those
like,
bro, those videos are so everlasting, and like something that I love, and I've said this before, but one of the biggest things for me is like, man, the trading is cool, the money's cool, right? But we're doing this together, and something that we do kind of exclusively. When I say we, I mean, you did with Market Cipher and the community you built there, and then all of us, right? Like Jay with his group, me with my group, Alex with his group. I like to
Mhm.
think that Market Cipher puts on good people, right? Like you guys, obviously vet and screen and whatever, but like I am building something. You are building something. Market Cipher is building something that's beyond just the trading. That's the part for me that I run with. I've said this many times. When I go in the ground, I want to go to a good place. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to bring people together. And, the trading is the product, sure, but the network as a whole is the part that I value the most. It's not the money. It's not the trading. It's not the superficial shit.
I
It's the,
always knew this about you, Gio. I'm gonna interrupt you for a sec
yeah.
because Gio comes off as like a very like boisterous, like confident, like he's a DJ, so he's got that, he's like you are a very charismatic person, Gio. But I like literally could tell from like the second I saw you somehow, like I see it in your eyes, bro. It's like in your eyes. Like I could tell like you're like a man for others. Like I could tell that you're more concerned about like making a difference than
making
becoming
bread.
the famous or super wealthy
Yeah,
or like
man.
there. I mean, you go into any profession. We all go into every profession like with our own motives, right? But I always felt like Gio had good motives, like, and I'm seeing it. Like you start this community where like Gio isn't like selfishly raising himself above everyone else, like he's this god, even though sometimes he talks like that. Who cares what people say?
Yeah.
You got to look at
Sometimes,
what people
Uh,
do, and what is he doing? He's elevating all sorts of traders, and like I love the Nexus thing, man. That's why I got on this show because
yeah. Well,
yeah, it's about making a difference, you know.
I appreciate it. It's not always easy to, have my message resonate through a screen, like especially in the most like scammy industry. And I don't want to talk too much about it because we've talked about it enough, but I do say all
Mhm.
the time, like, the Nexus is not about me, bro. Like I'm just as much of a member as these guys, as members that are not moderators. Like I'm just part of it. Yeah, like I
You've
ran it.
surrendered. You've
Yeah, man.
completely
Like
surrendered. That's
yes,
what
I
this shit
ran it.
takes, man.
Yes, I
yeah.
built it,
Mhm.
but it's not my network, it's our network, and that's the thing that I really hold. Like I'm so, and I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I'm so proud of myself, man. Like I've come so far, and everything that I envisioned has, I'm not all the way there yet. The Nexus is not all the way there yet, but it's really come into fruition. And I'm just so blessed, bro. I'm so blessed to be where I'm at. I'm so blessed that you and Jay and your brother like put me on and gave me an opportunity to be able to make a difference on this scale. Because I've always been like this, but obviously online, the people that you can reach are limitless. The sky's the limit. But I like, in your real life, I maybe know like fucking 50 people, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just so blessed to be where I'm at, and something, the reason I feel like as a whole, the whole market cipher community, whatever, like the strong connection that I had and the pull that like gravitated me towards market cipher is that community part. I think that all of us care about our people, bro. Alex is a neighbor of mine. He just moved a few months ago, but like him and I went to Leafs games and shit. I have nothing but good things to say about Alex O'Crypto, at all. Like he's a good person. And I think the whole market cipher community are good people. And that's the part that I latch onto more than the trading, more than the $1 million P&Ls. Not that I'm even close to that. More than, the up talking yourself and, I'm the best trader and whatever. I do believe I'm in the top 5% of traders globally, for the record, but it's not about that for me. It's about everyone else. It's about controlling your narrative. It's about changing your lives. It's about Jet's fucking screenshot that he sent in the group a few minutes ago with that super sniper entry, and he made more money in 4 hours than he did in his, a month and a half, 2 months of working, right? But it's not about the dollar amount. It's the freedom, and it's the putting your trust in something as a team, as a collective, as a network. So anyways, I'm done rambling, but I really appreciate the words, Nick, because that
certain things just happen, man. Like the thing is you got to just let things happen, which you think that you have to like overanalyze and be so meticulous and like so like you have to work so hard through your problems, but actually most of your problems kind of just like solve themselves, and like things create themselves. Like your Nexus community, it's not like you tried super hard to make it. Yeah, you put the effort in, but you had fun the whole time you did it.
Yeah.
And same with like the Market Cipher brand and like the why you guys like say that like this community is like a community of integrity. Did I like purposefully do that? Not really. Like really, like Market Cipher is just a brother who started something, and then his brother who had his back, and like I simply like that's who we all are to each other, right? We're brothers, we're trading brothers, and like that kind of idea of like I'm gonna help my brother through this. It's weird to see that like has bled into so much, and it's created this whole community of individuals who I'm not related to, but you guys all think the same way I do. Isn't that freaking weird? How we're all basically just kind of in this to like make sure our brothers are succeeding and like doing well, and like and the profits followed after that, man. Like that's a byproduct of just simply walking the path and like letting things happen, and that's a big mark of mastery is like the surrender. Like when you take that leap or that dive into the pool, you never know if you're going to belly flop or if it's going to be a perfect dive. You literally have to like surrender to that freaking moment. Like you actually have no control in that moment of like going from like a beginner to or an intermediate to a master. And like a lot of it is subconscious. Like that's the mark of a master is like he's doing things subconsciously. He doesn't have to think about all this stuff because like there's just something automatic about it, you know? And so, yeah, man, that's the way to go. That's how I know that you're on the road to mastery, Geo. Not just as a trader, but as like a leader for traders. And like, and yeah, man, I think that we made a good decision, like backing you up. And I personally was at a good spot in my life when we met, like when we did that first interview.
Yeah.
Where like I was like, all right, this guy's got some things to say. He's talking shit. You know
I know
what I'm
how
saying?
to make some noise.
But I could smell. I knew he was a friend. I knew that it would be cool if we got this guy. Like I needed like a challenge, And so you kind of pose like a challenge. It's almost like Goku versus Vegeta. It's like you fight each other, but then you're like friends for the rest of the anime.
You fight each other, but then you still gotta kick Frieza's ass in the end.
That's how it's got to be, man. Yeah.
Well, I think
So
it's just because you can't really fake. You can't fake authenticity. You can't fake being a good person, and that's what I have to, give. Like I said, I have to give my hats off because you guys know how to find good people, and I'm excited to see like what comes next, bro. Because trading is always evolving. The charts are evolving. The way of trading, the strategies are evolving. Like you're using VWAPs and shit now, where you weren't in 2024. Right? You started that this year. So I'm excited to see like where, all of us end up in a year from now. Because I bet you a year ago, you didn't think
a much better place than a majority of people in the crypto space, because we learned the skill that gets us through a bear market. We spent the entire bull run perfecting a skill that allows us to survive and thrive no matter what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the power of what we're doing, is like everything that we've created, all these little trades you're taking, it's all inconsequential, because what's going to happen eventually is that this potentially all goes to shit for a year or a year and a half or however long, and while everyone else is crying and having a terrible time and fudding and all this shit, we're just trading, man. It's like week by week, month by
Yeah,
month.
like
And we have that mindset of a trader where, like, even in our lives, every new week, every new month, every new quarter is just like a totally new beginning. It's like, why would you ever hold on to anything that was bothering you last week or last month? If like this new quarter, it's like a new quarter, bro. It's a new time. We're in a new candle. Like,
Mhm.
what are you now? You know?
man, that's a
And so
really
we keep
good.
coming back, and it's like you have this eternal. You're no longer immortal in the markets. You're no longer a mortal who can
Yeah,
bleed.
yeah.
Mortals
Mhm.
bleed, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so you almost become like into spiritual. So this is what a trader is you're like this. You're like that phoenix. That's why I like that white phoenix guy, because
Dude,
to be a
he's a
trader is to be kind of like an angel or a demon in the markets, right?
yeah.
You're either on demon time or you're like something, you're someone from heaven, because how the hell are you profitable when no one else is? Like, obviously there's something blessed about that path that you're taking if you become profitable. But also there's, I mean, it's up to you whether you want to be a good person or not when you succeed at trading. There's people
Mm.
who get a get a sports car and whatever, do whatever things with whatever they want. There's other people helping people. I don't want to judge anyone else. I'm me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but when I have that ultimate power, I would like to think that I make a difference. But who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe I'll turn into a huge fucking asshole once I make my first $1 million trade,
Well, you
and
know
I'll turn
what?
on you guys. But I'm
Listen,
just
well,
kidding.
Yeah.
But
listen, if
you know
you
what I'm
if you
saying.
I pray that you do hit your first 7-digit trade. That's $1 million, right? 7 digits. And then, if you need to be an asshole and take it out on me, I'll eat it. Come call me, be an asshole to
No,
me.
no, I'm so zen
You're
about it,
like,
bro. Like
Gio,
I
I
actually,
just hit seven
yeah.
figures. You're a fucking asshole. Like, bring it on.
No,
Which
yeah, I would say
actually you
I'm
should do
ready.
that, because that would get Gio fired up.
Dude, that would be
If you
so
did that, Nick, and
inspiring.
if you
Bro,
called Gio when you hit your first 7-figure trade and you like rub it in his face, brag to him, Gio's gonna call me and first thing he's gonna say is, "Dude, I need to hit 8 figures tomorrow."
well, not 8.
Yeah.
Not like for me, man, I'm in a place where I think, okay, so a saying that we've been saying a lot lately in the Nexus is add a digit, which is basically just adding a digit to your net worth. So if your net worth is 1,000, let's get you to like 10,000, right? If you're at 94,000, let's get you to 100,000. Like, let's just add a digit to our net worth. And I'm at a place where I'm trying to push and add a digit for me. And it's not always as simple. It's not always as easy. You know what I mean? Like, I know your first million is easier or is the hardest to make, right? But like getting to that million is the hard part. Like adding the digit is the hard part. And I imagine that's why, for lack of a better way of putting it, you like spiraled in Q4 of 2024 or whatever. And you had like,
Yeah,
you know,
I want to expand on this because I have like a very concrete, like, because I went through this lesson. I
okay,
literally had that goal. I
let's hear what
had
you have
that
to say.
goal of going to $1 million.
Let me segue you into it. Basically, I'm at a place right now where I'm trying to add a digit. And, the last month for me, I'm not even green in the last month, to be honest with you. And I have no problem being transparent about that. I've had killer trades that if I just held them and I stuck to my plan, I would have probably added a digit. It's crazy. I have like 4 or 5 huge trades this year that if I just stuck to the plan, bro, I longed Ethereum with a $9 stop loss, and I longed it to the all-time high. And if I just held it, that would have been $1 million trade. So I have the plan, but sometimes I just like the trade management, I fuck up the execution, and it's all about the emotions that come with the whole me wanting to add a digit. So let me hear what your thoughts are in regards to that, because I'm very interested in learning. I'm sure people at home are too, but you are, I would say, probably 1 digit above me, and like your brother is probably 1 digit above you, if not more.
He's 2 digits. He's like 2 digits.
Yeah,
2
yeah,
or 2
that guy's
digits. Yeah.
fucking, he's a G. But anyway,
Yeah,
I want to hear what you have to say
yeah.
about that, because maybe it'll help me too.
Well, scaling. So my brother reached that level of threshold very quickly, which is very abnormal. You know, it's a very freak example. Just like how it's very freakish that he grew his YouTube channel so quickly, because it's like he's a very rare personality and he's like a freak of nature, you know. So for the most of us, like it's going to take a much longer road and a legitimate like spiritual journey to like actually get to 200K YouTube subs or actually get to like $1 million P&Ls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so my brother kind of sits there as this like example of what could be, but also like I've, you know, like it's a lot. There's way more to it unless you take like unless you're lucky with like major shortcuts or something, but you almost don't even want that because if you're
No, you
not like
don't.
ready for that, you might lose it, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, props to my brother for like still being that guy, you know what I'm saying? But like scaling is not just like you never take profits. Like you can't be like Michael Saylor. Like it's going to take a constant process of expansion and contraction, not just of your capital, but of your ego. Like when I hit 350K account size, I knew at that moment that I was just a few good swings away from a million, maybe like two or three solid trades. You know, that's how I was seeing it. It's like, wait, I'm actually like insanely close to hitting that, and that's up to me to hit that. But the lesson that I learned after falling on my face and like taking a 100K loss in a single trade
Jeez.
is like I needed to take 80% of that profit out and prove to myself again that I could do it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like my
100%.
ego was completely overblown. I should not have been comparing myself to my brother, even though all those times I spent talking about how I don't want to do that, and that is my number one like hurdle that I face as a trader
Yeah.
is like comparing myself to my brother. Like that ended up getting me. And like but that number, 100K, $100,000 will teach you a lesson. If you didn't get the lesson before, losing $100,000 teaches you the freaking lesson. And like
Man.
what I learned, man, is like holy shit. If I'm actually that confident in myself that I'm the next CF or I'm the next whatever, then what's the problem with taking 80% of that money off the table and doing it again? You know, it's like, can't you do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
again? Aren't you that guy? You know? And like, but what that does is it reduces the size of your next loss. Like, I wasn't realistic about my win rate. I thought I was this hot shot trader who's a big shot. But over many, many breakout challenges, what I learned studying my own results is my win rate is like 35 to 40%, you know? And so actually there's a higher chance that my next trade execution is a loss than it is a win, you know? And so if I oversize, my size is too big, or if I'm not taking profits, well then that next loss it risks being bigger
Yeah.
than my
Yeah. Yeah.
stake.
Yeah.
And so this lesson I will never make again, and that's why I've been doing so well recently is because I'm taking the fucking money, man.
Yeah.
I am
Get
not
it out of
just
there.
sowing. I am not just sowing. I am
Reaping.
reaping and reproving. The thing is about proving to yourself over and over again, doing that dive, surrendering again and again to the process, is you get so confident in it that it becomes so replicable and so grounded and so like inevitable that it just gives you this confidence and like you know that's the difference between me now from last year is like I have this really good uh gauge or barometer on like my ego and like my trade size, and I'm like able to seamlessly expand and contract and like play that dance. To go back to the
Mhm.
6-7 connection, it's the yin and the yang, it's
Yeah.
the expansion and the contraction, it's the up and the down. You don't just go up and you don't just go down unless you trade minis like Jet, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
um
Unless
but
you
for
get
the
those
most part,
Nexus entries.
this is an up and down thing. And
Yeah.
actually, to be a trader is to be a professional loser. You know,
Yeah.
we're actually just a couple of losers here on Discord phone call. You know that I almost don't
Yeah.
even like that word trader because it sounds like traitor, like I
Yeah.
betrayed my people or my country. I would actually rather be called a loser, you know.
Man, I say it all the
But
time.
that's
Like
a
I
whole
don't.
other thing.
I say it all the time. I don't lose. I learn. Like people are afraid to lose, and you going
Hmm.
in so heavy and losing 100K in one trade, like you said, like that's a lesson learned, and you're never gonna make that mistake again. And I think that people's relationship with risk in general is unhealthy, and they don't realize that if you're
It's awful.
risking what the like standard is, which is 1 to 2% per trade, and you just take more trades and you have whatever edge you have, like obviously you're not forcing any trades, you will make more in the long run by doing it that way than going in hard on one. So instead of like risking the 100K on one trade, if you chop that shit up into 10 trades, you have a better shot of winning. If you have a 40% win rate,
100%.
you have a 40% win rate, and let's just say you're shooting for a 3-1, whatever it is, right? Or 10-1, whatever the fuck, right? If you're doing that and you chop that shit up, like still risk the 100K, whatever, do you? But if you split it up, you're giving you're giving yourself more of a chance of surviving the game. This game is survival. This game is not who can make the money the fastest. There's no end to it. It's a marathon. There's no threshold. There's no limit. It's no game over. This is a
Survival needs to be subconscious. You cannot be consciously worrying about survival, right?
Yeah.
Because what does that mean? It means you're immortal. It means that you are capable of death in the markets. If you are constantly, oh, I just want to survive, blah, blah, blah.
no.
I actually replied to a tweet of yours. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
saw it,
it's
I
like
saw it.
actually there's like this elevated level of looking at it where it's like, duh, you know, we're all survivors here, right? How about we start thriving? How about we start taking the money that we see on the screen and
I
actually
like it.
making our lives better from that, you know?
100%.
So
But if
yeah,
you
that's like the next
I
step
like
to
it.
it.
But
I
but
like
you
it.
also, on the flip side of it, you can't walk into a fucking burning house on fire and say
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
immortal. Like you know what I mean?
Well, that's the noob. Before you that's what a gambler is. Like you're not even a beginner, you're a gambler.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's where you have the thought that you are immortal when you're not. You know, and so you have subconscious immortality that is undeserved, you know.
Yeah.
So this unconsciousness, a master takes that unconsciousness and does good with it. A noob takes that unconsciousness and destroys capital with it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Like you
you
can't just stand in
100%,
front of a
bro,
fucking
100%.
train with your arms
But
open.
that's why the conscious lessons are so important, right? Because you have to consciously learn something first and then it becomes automatic, right?
Absolutely.
You can't just like throw your arms to the wind and I'm gonna do this beautiful swan dive and trust the process when you've never practiced. Next thing you know, you're belly flopping or you break your neck on the water, you know? So
I
yeah,
have a
it's like, yeah, go on.
I have a question for you. So when you, I don't know, I don't really know the full story about how you ended up getting that account to 350K. But my question is, when you took that loss, did you already know about risk management and not apply it, and it kind of just overlooked it, or were you more like, after that happened? Is that when you really were like, okay, risk management is what I have to do? Like,
I would
that's my
say
question.
that it was straight up like tilt. It was like this weird inability to exit a trade that was going south because I thought that, you know, there's no way it's not going to go back to this previous large high time frame candles VWAP. This was a case where it never went back there. It floated above it and then just took off and never came back, right? And so being stubborn and like not having a tight invalidation, not getting the right like SFP type of like liquidity hunting price in the first place, and like it's like, yeah, we all know risk management, but when you're in the hot seat in that big trade and like the red number goes from 20 to 35 to 50 to, it's like, fuck, man, I gotta just
Yeah.
like in that time, being a man of action can save you five figure, like thousands and thousands
Six
of
figures.
dollars just by having the bravery to like exit that bad situation. For me personally, in that very moment, despite knowing everything about risk management, that's the thing, is I was a hypocrite, right? I'm the guy who first taught everyone risk management back in like
Exactly.
2017.
Yes.
So
Okay.
why the hell is Flopping Groper making this mistake? I told you why I made the mistake, because where was my mind at the time? My mind
I
was
can't
was
lose.
on a
Yeah.
goal. My mind was on a goal. My mind was comparing myself to other people, and I had I have a strategy that gives me strong conviction. The problem is that conviction can be the death of you if you don't have risk management. And so it's a
Correct.
balancing act, man. It's like it's this crazy. Sometimes you got to learn. Let sometimes you got to learn the same lesson at each stage, right? Like you learn risk management as a beginner, and then you become intermediate, and then you learn risk management as an intermediate, then you become a professional, then you learn risk management as a professional. You're gonna have
Correct.
to you don't ever like transform in any. Remember, Geo, I told you never actually evolve from a Magikarp to a Gyarados. Like
Yeah.
you're always it's actually like it's yin and yang. It's like a cycle, and so the best master is an eternal student. And so you actually are kind of just piling on lessons on top of each other until you create like a mountain of truths. You're not actually like changing from that noob at the beginning to something new or better. You're building on that, because
Okay.
if you think of yourself as so different and so enlightened compared to the you from a year ago, you might actually start finding yourself having to relearn some of the same fucking tired old lessons, bro. So
Yeah.
yeah, take
Well,
that with I guess that's my take on that, man. Is like, yeah, I ascended to professional stage and I had to learn some beginner lessons again because
okay.
I got ahead of myself. I thought I was the dragon. No, dude. I mean, in that moment, I was the flopping groper again. You know?
Yeah. So you knew, but once, like as you said, you go through like cycles. Once you got to that felt like professional level, you just were like, okay, I don't really you didn't learn risk management at that professional level yet, correct? Is that what you're saying?
I had to feel the sting one more time. I guess it's a
Yeah.
tough thing to
I
admit,
mean, dude, I'm
but
with
yeah,
that's
it's like,
exactly what happened to me. So
You're
and
like
that's why
yeah,
you're like
that's the truth.
I'm
That's the truth
done.
of it. You know what
Like
I'm
you're like
saying?
I'm done fucking being dumb. Like I'm following the rules from
yeah,
now on. Like what am I
you
doing?
should see how my complete 180. I mean, complete 180 from
Hmm.
what? Maybe a month ago? I mean, I got absolutely smoked. Just being stupid. Everything's going straight up. I had long lows on 2x leverage, no stop loss, big margin, and we
Yeah.
got liquidated for everything I had in my Femex, which was more than
Ugh.
more than like I'm not joking you. Like this was a bad one. But so now I'm back, and I learned how to trade from Geo in the first place. But I mean, I'd go on there on the daily and, find lows and do this. And I'd be like, all right, well, we dumped 10%. Let me buy it. I don't care. I'd be in
Mhm.
drawdown for 2, 3 weeks, not care. But it's like you said, getting back to that thing where you're like, if you're just careless and you're like, oh, it'll go back up or it's supposed, it's going to work, this and that. And then, having those trade, like I've literally done what you were saying earlier, where you're in such drawdown and then it comes back up and you don't even close it. You just leave it open because you're like, it's going to keep going. Fuck it. And then it comes
Yeah.
back down and you still get smoked. It's like, there's no worse feeling than that. Oh, I could have closed it here. That's why the mental
Mhm.
battle is so hard. And that's why I want to do uh, breakout because I think it teaches, like, you can't not do risk management on breakout. They don't let you. That's why I think it's the
Yeah.
perfect
It's
place
yeah, it's
to
completely
offload.
rigid and unforgiving. And
Exactly.
in that environment, that's where unfortunately, see, it's conscious. I would say that if you can only be profitable on prop firms and not on live accounts, then you are still consciously having to think about your survival, you know?
Correct.
So whereas if you can take funded trading gains, put them on a live account, and consistently grow that on 0.1 or 0.2% risks, like on A plus setups only over the course of multiple years. It's like I can say that I'm a professional, but also I'm still a little wet behind the ears, like from that perspective. Like I've
Yeah.
only become like this person this year and a little bit of like last year. I'm still actually more closer to like the bottom end of professional where I could slip from this point if I'm not careful. And it's like, but beyond professional, that's when you reach that CF status. That's when you become like a capitalist or an entrepreneur, and like you're able to
Yeah.
diversify from trading altogether. And that's when
Hmm.
the stress goes away, kind of, and you become like almost too big to fail, as long as you don't fuck that shit up. But
Yeah.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's man, it's such heavy lessons, man, such heavy lessons. But the reason why I like breakout is it makes these lessons more manageable, and it makes it so when it does finally freaking click and you start getting those payouts, It's like a tidal wave of truth and profits washing away. It's like a baptism, basically washing away all your intermediate level sins that you made all year. You have the opportunity to undo those mistakes with that rigid rule set. But you do have to start taking that rule set or something similar to it and applying it to yourself, or else you'll never graduate from the conscious mastery to the unconscious mastery. You'll never
Correct.
quite be a professional. You'll be something in between an intermediate and a professional, which is a great place to be. You're in the top 3-5% of traders at that point. And that's where I'm trying to ascend out of, right? I'm trying to get that breakout. I'm trying to like reach that escape velocity myself, but I just know that I can't do it too quick. I know that it's going to take this process of growing and peeling back, and just repetition, man. Just put those reps in, just like how we did the push-ups last year. You just got to put those trades in, man. And what I like about Breakout most of all is the dashboard is really cool. You can screen clip your dashboard, put it right into ChatGPT, and like ChatGPT will analyze your results for you. And if you have a multiple dashboards, like 10 accounts of dashboards like saved in a document somewhere, you really actually get a great idea of your win rate. And now you're like, oh shit, this is not about me like proving to people I'm a genius. This is about proving to people how good I am at losing with grace and like making
Yeah.
the same gain that I did last year on 1/20th the risk, So
Mhm.
yeah, man, that's what we're
I
doing,
And
man. We're
there's
just
no
sharpening.
shame. There's no shame in losing, and you can't get jacked
Mhm.
in one day. Like it's a marathon. You know what I mean? You gotta run.
Yeah,
You
no.
go to the
Where's that
gym.
daily drawdown rule? Where was that? Where was that shit with me? Like, why did I lose
Yeah,
that much
I
in a single
know.
day?
I know. I know.
Yeah, man. I can't
Mhm.
even.
I
I can't
wish, man.
even begin to imagine the emotions that came with that. But
No, yeah.
it's
Well, I
it's a
mean, now we've made
journey.
it back, so it's made back now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there now. I could go freaking hard and start aping into big trades now, but I like where I'm at. I'm taking the process slow. I'm growing everything at an organic pace. My community, my trades, whatever. I got good opportunities coming my way. I got like you guys are gonna see me on podcasts at the start of next year. You're gonna see me like going to New York and like doing like kind of more professional interviews now that I'm
Okay.
like a ranking trader on Breakout, and I'm flying to the Bahamas to like do interviews with Kraken and Breakout
Oh wow,
like
that's
next
pretty cool.
month.
Nice.
Oh,
So
cool.
this
Sure.
this life is like coming toward me, and I'm really glad that like my trading is at a point that I feel really safe and good, and like it's
Good.
not
Man,
like my identity isn't staked on like my next trade. Like it's not like that
Yeah.
it's not,
anymore.
bro.
It's
Because
like
Okay,
the
good.
thing is it's not
it's
about
my
your next
career is
trade.
able to grow naturally
It's
now.
not about your
It's
next
like
trade. It's about your next 1,000. So that's really what it is. It's not
yeah,
about your next one. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Hey, and man, as long as you just remember, the Nexus had you on before you really made it to the Kraken, the
Before
big
you
leagues,
before you
Mr.
made it to the big leagues,
Hollywood.
but
The
also
Nexus hosted you, man. Don't forget us.
listen, but also to
Of
his
course not,
credit,
man.
like he had me on before the Nexus was even a thing. So that's the 6-7. Your yin and yang right there.
6-7.
That's your
Dude,
Mhm.
this
6-7.
No, man, I've
podcast,
learned
I'm
so
telling
much.
you.
I've learned so much from you, Gio. Not gonna lie, especially liquidity and a little bit of market structure, but mostly just like hunting liquidity. Though I guess that's like an IC. I never ever watched a single ICT
Me
video,
neither.
bro.
Me neither. I never
Like
watched
I was
ICT.
never. I didn't give a shit about liquidity. I was just trading waves, and like I
Dude,
was honestly lost compared to where I'm at now. Like I get these
bro,
crazy sniper entries. I caught the Pico top. It's just I took profit at the previous week's VWAP,
yeah, yeah,
So like
yeah. Yeah,
I
bro,
have
it's
that
good.
level of precision now. And
Man,
it is partially thanks to like people like you, man, like drilling that into us as a community. So
yeah,
thank you,
man,
bro.
liquidity is huge. It's the very first thing. It's my favorite word in trading. And I kind of just like had to learn it because I was like not really giving a shit about it as well, and I wasn't taking profits, and so I would go in, divergences and stuff with market cipher, for example, and then I would get fucking smoked, and I'm like, well, what the hell's going on? So I don't lose, I learn. So I would just go back and I would study, and I've gotten to a point now where like I'm so good with my TA that I don't actually have anything up on the chart until I'm actually ready for entry. So funny enough, a lot of people think I'm
Yeah.
like I don't use market cipher anymore. And it's not that I don't use it, it's that I have it up on my screen maybe like 5% of the time when I'm actually entering, because
In
if
your
I
zone.
don't, it fucks with my head. Like I start thinking, oh, the divergence is here. Maybe they're not going to go for that liquidity. And then I'll enter early, not take profit. Like it'll play out a little bit, whatever, not take profit. And then I get absolutely smoked. So when I'm actually ready to execute, that's when I have like the help with other indicators and such. But man, like, you know, once I really started focusing on liquidity, and I never watched ICT either. Like I never watched ICT. But once I really started focusing on the why the market moves the way that it does, that's when things kind of changed for me. And then now, like Market Cipher and other entry models that I have were the cherry on top to like the foundation of why is this happening? Why am I getting stopped out here if this looks like this? And that's what I do. When I lose, I go back and I study it and I learn so that it doesn't happen again. And I know what to expect for next time. So.
I love that, man. Yeah, Market Cipher, like it's not a replacement for good timing and getting a good price for your trade. You may have the best idea, but you still need to get that good price.
Yeah.
And you're still a dumbass if you like trade on weekends and shit. Like waiting
Yeah.
for that new high time frame candle, like we just so the simple act of waiting for a new weekly candle, and then instead of guessing what next week's candle is going to do, guys, just wait for next week's candle to happen and draw out last week's high, low, and open and like trade around those. And most weeks it plays out, unless you get a crazy week like the dumpage from this week. This was expansion away from
Yeah,
VWAP.
this has
But
been
most
crazy.
weeks it's like you tag last week's high or low, and like usually you get something there, you know? So like when you have good timing and you know how to get a good price, you pull up Market Cipher, you'll actually find that like those are the times where the money flow wave is nice and mature looking, and like you have a multiple stack of nice good divergence with that geo spike wave, that extra wave that comes after. It looks like it's dead, then it comes up
Yeah.
and fucks you, and then it goes in the way you thought.
Man.
Like you see all that play out around. That's the weekend move. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, yeah, it
Like you'll
almost
trust me, dude. Like good timing and good price, and then look at Market Cipher. Maybe sometimes Market Cipher filters out a trade you shouldn't enter, right?
yeah.
It's like a filter. It is a part of my entry model, but also oscillators aren't a strategy. They're a part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
like
a
I said,
tool.
it's
It's
not a
a tool. It's a
replacement.
tool. You
It's
gotta
not
know
a
how to use it.
replacement for timing and price.
You got to
Yeah.
know how to use it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you can understand the why, which is primarily what I'm teaching, you know, you can really use that tool to its maximum capacity.
I would say stop calling it. You know how Jason Casper calls it like a confluence of like all these waves? Like actually what it
Yeah.
really is a redundancy, which is not a bad word. Like we have two arms, two balls, two nostrils for a reason. Because like if one goes down, you at least you have an extra kidney, you know?
Yeah.
Redundancy is not a bad word, but 5 oscillators is just 5 oscillators. Like it's you're only looking at one thing expressed 5 different ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think some traders, they get this bad idea of like, because all 5 oscillators are in agreement, I can bet the farm. And this is the
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah,
time
yeah.
to, you know,
Yeah.
that is not the case. That
Yeah.
this is simply telling you that oscillators as a whole may be agreeing with this trade idea, but that's it. That's literally all it is. And like, just because you paid for a VIP or an indicator or something, it doesn't just like guarantee that you make it in this game. Like
I
this
know.
is the business
You
that we
can't just-
chose, man. Like
You can't
you
just
know, it's
long
like
the BitBoy green dots anymore.
you have no guarantee and no promise. The world does not promise you anything. It didn't promise me anything. I'm the Market Cipher guy. I was at rock bottom in 2022, clawed my way back, you know? So it's like, shit, man. Like there's no guarantees. Even if you're the guy at the top who made the thing, you go
Yeah.
through those ups and downs and shit. Like my brother just took massive losses this year.
Yeah,
You know,
him
and
and I
like
were talking about how, like, you know, his year. I think he was making it. He made a video about it as well, like saying he was in the red this year and
he had a
whatever.
really good like comeback. I mean, he just closed $1 million
I know,
freaking
dude.
trade. So
That guy's on a
I don't know if he's
different-
still in the red, but
That guy's on a different
I don't
level,
understand
bro.
what's going on. Yeah, me
Man,
neither,
if you
bro.
ever like take a 50K like loss and you're just like, yo, bro, like, you know, can you just cover my loss? I used to do that with my boys. We used to go to the casino, and if one of us took like a $2,000 loss or whatever, and someone else won like 10 racks, we would pay the guy out, like, so we're break even. You know what I mean? But
That's a good that you know the brothers, me, Crypto Guy on the Internet, and CF, we have helped each other. You know, it's bloodline diversification. This is another reason why
yeah,
a brotherhood is so important in trading, because yeah, 3 of us may get shit on, but if Jet makes it, well, at least we're on his yacht. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
shit, man.
fucking
You know, it's
seriously,
like
yeah.
fuck,
Man,
man.
it's
Like,
risk
we need
management.
to.
It's like diversifying the portfolios, across different people.
Yeah, man.
Don't
Yeah, I
take them.
totally agree with that, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And the time I'm getting run a little low on time. My sushi's at the front door, like
Yeah, yeah,
sitting
yeah.
there waiting for me to eat it. So I gotta go get my food and eat dinner, man. But this has been great, bro. Thanks
Yeah,
for
man. Thanks
yeah, this
for
has been a
coming
good
on,
one.
bro. I will put Nick's information in all descriptions down below. Nick, thank you for coming. Mr. Flop and Groper, we appreciate it. Any last words you got to say before you go have your sushi?
We talked a lot of good lessons, but I may be a flopping groper, but I still eat the flopping grower. I'm about to go eat some salmon right now, so
Nice.
I am the devourer. I don't just sow, I also reap. I
Yeah.
take the profits. I'm not like Michael Saylor. I reward myself, and I'm going where I need to go. You guys are too. I love the Nexus. You guys are awesome, man. I'll be back soon, and that's pretty much it, man.
We appreciate you,
God
Nick.
bless you
Good
guys.
luck. Enjoy your food. God bless. We'll see you later.